Daniel Jeremiah just released the top 10 prospects from the Reese Bowl that helped themselves the most, going out there and having a great performance. I just want to reiterate this quote from Brandon Beane saying that he's always looking for mismatches and trying to find various mismatches. If that is another receiver to offset Stefon Diggs or whoever else, yes, he wouldn't hesitate to do that. And what this does is it opens the door to have Stefon Diggs potentially restructure his contract because he's not going to have to do as much, especially if we get another dynamic wide receiver, perimeter wide receiver on this team. It should lessen the double coverage on Stefon Diggs. It should help his overall production and make his value skyrocket. And let's not forget, Joe Brady has experience working with two dynamic wide receivers going back to LSU, with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Joe Brady will know exactly how to implement both of them in our scheme and get them both evenly involved. But glancing at Daniel Jeremiah's list, we have to look at wide receiver. We have to look at other positions that we see fit. And clearly the first one here, Malaki Corey from Western Kentucky, is a big-time fan, a yak master, yard after catch, a master, something that we saw the Buffalo Bills really try to establish last year. How much of a priority will it be under Joe Brady in 2024? But you could see that Daniel Jeremiah says we'll get a better chance to see what he could do after the catch in the Senior Bowl game on Saturday. He didn't get to showcase his yards after catch ability this week during practice because of the structure of the practices, and this is really why he is such a great prospect. But Daniel Jeremiah said that he ran good routes during drills, he showed his speed, and caught the ball very well. Based on conversations he's had with teams in the NFL, a lot of people are excited about him. Defensive tackle is definitely on the list after Daquan Jones being a free agent, Jordan Phillips, not having Linval Joseph since we only brought him here for a short little stints. But Braden Fisk also had a great practice week here. Jeremiah said after watching him make play after play the last few days, I'm really looking forward to doing more game film study on him. He doesn't have the ideal length, but he showed excellent first step quickness in practice and knows how to use his hands to his advantage. He said that he's very disruptive all week long. Calais Fuga, a tackle. I know we got Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown. His ability to maybe be a swing tackle guard. He's massive, weighing 332 pounds. You know, the Buffalo Bills, I think, are pretty set at offensive line with Aaron Cromer, Connor McGovern, Osiris Torrance. Yes, we're getting up in age with Mitch Morris. I don't think Faluga is going to be playing center for Bills Mafia. Tyler Guyton, another tackle here at 6'7", 328 pounds. A prototypical tackle in this league. It's unlikely that he's going to be playing in the interior, especially being that tall. So I really don't foresee this person being on the Buffalo Bills list. Now, we always could consider an additional depth piece, seeing that Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady utilized 6 offensive lineman sets, knowing that we lost David Edwards here to free agency. Maybe we consider having another tackle here to develop and just be a depth piece to Spencer Brown, to Deion Dawkins, maybe a swing tackle, somewhat similar to what we did with Ty Nadecki when he was here. Call me crazy, but we can't rule out another tight end, especially if we get them a little bit later in the draft. Reason being, Quentin Morris is a free agent, and as I just mentioned, that we did utilize 6 offensive lineman sets last year, and if having a bigger tight end that proposes more of catching ability and blocking ability, we could see Theo Johnson, 6'6", 257 pounds, bigger than the prototypical Dalton Kincaid, more of a receiving type. Maybe Theo Johnson comes in here with a little bit more size than Quentin Morris, could really mix and match without having to have 6 offensive linemen out there. Joe Brady could have Theo Johnson instead. Now, Daniel Jeremiah does state that he was the best player at the position, the tight end position, in this year's NFL draft. So it's unlikely that he's going to fall to the Buffalo Bills for a reasonable draft pick. Quentin Mitchell, a cornerback here from Toledo. Bills, I think, are still skill set with Rasul Douglas, Trey White, Christian Benford, even still having Kyer Elam. The Buffalo Bills are probably not going to be looking at the cornerback position, but the situation always presents itself about taking the best player available. Will Quentin Mitchell fall to the Buffalo Bills at a good spot for us to draft him? And I don't really foresee this happening, but you can clearly see that Daniel Jeremiah is very, very high on him. He says that the only rep he lost was a 5-yard completion on a one-handed catch by Roman Wilson, who has been tearing things up at the Senior Bowl. But Mitchell's overall speed, his awareness, his ball skills are off the charts. And Daniel Jeremiah says that he has no question about his competitiveness, willingness to tackle during practices. And just something to consider, too, the Bills have been paying a pretty penny to our backup quarterbacks, Kyle Allen, Mitch Trubisky, Case Keenum, too. You know, maybe the Bills could supplement some of this cap space with bringing in a rookie quarterback behind Josh Allen, so we don't have to delegate so much money to our backup quarterbacks. But Michael Penix Jr., a quarterback from Washington, Daniel Jeremiah is very excited about his abilities. Darius Robinson had a great week, and I hope you saw my previous video, some highlights of him tearing things up. He reminds Daniel Jeremiah as Cam Jordan replica when he watched him this week. Robinson dominated one-on-ones. He also had a consistent 3 days of practice, never had a down day, showing that he could play up, he could play down on the line of scrimmage, he could play every kind of position on the interior, on the outside. Daniel Jeremiah says his arrow is clearly pointing straight up. Terrell Dotson, a free agent for the Buffalo Bills, dealing with so many injuries last year. Matt Milano going down, having to dig into the depth of this Buffalo Bills roster, even going to Balin Spector, Dorian Williams, a rookie, and Terrell Bernard the first time he started, as well as calling back A.J. Klein, who is sitting at home on the sofa. But Peyton Willis here, Daniel Jeremiah says that he had a huge day as an off-ball linebacker. He's 6'4", 234 pounds, showed the ability to run and cover, something that we are looking for here in Buffalo because we run up the score offensively. Teams are forced to pass against us. That he played lacrosse, he played multiple positions, he was a champion in wrestling. We know Sean McDermott's background in wrestling, but he has some durability questions after he suffered multiple injuries during his college career. Lastly, Roman Wilson, wide receiver. This kid is absolutely dynamic. He's a shifty route runner. Absolutely love him, and I think he would be great to pair with Stephon Diggs. Daniel Jeremiah said the Reese Senior Bowl offered a big opportunity to Wilson, and he took full advantage of it. He didn't get a chance to run a lot of different routes in Michigan's offense, but he showed the ability to do so here during the Reese Senior Bowl, and mind you, against top-notch talent. Wilson is super explosive. He was the winner in day one's practice and actually had 2 overall very nice days, including making a one-handed catch on Wednesday. And like Daniel Jeremiah said, it was against one of the top cornerbacks coming out in this year's NFL draft. So the NFL draft is starting to formulate. Prospects are starting to go up. Some are starting to fall down. We know the position of needs combined with where the Buffalo Bills are going to be selecting in this year's draft. And I know Brandon Beane always says best available player, but we have to take all these things into account. Best available player means it's the best available player for the Buffalo Bills at that position, not necessarily the overall ranked per Daniel Jeremiah's eyes, per Mel Kiper's eyes. It really boils down to how we see them fitting this Buffalo Bills team, the Buffalo Bills area, Buffalo, New York. Do they like the cold? Do they want to be here? It ultimately really boils down to who will be the best fit for the future of this team. With Micah Hyde's status up in the air, it would have been nice to see maybe Daniel Jeremiah pick a safety, but no safety was selected on his list. I think the Bills could very well be eyeing up safety in this year's draft. Yes, we have Damar Hamlin. Cam Lewis is a free agent, but I think we will be able to make a competitive rate to bring him back. Maybe the Buffalo Bills are still eyeing up one of these safeties. We shall see. But I appreciate you guys all so much. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe. Also check the link in the description, the Buffalo Chicken Wing merch. We have other link down below to Course Careers offering you guys online certificates to get a 100% remote job. $70,000 paying job, entry level. They're doing awesome things. They're directly tied to employers and can definitely help you out get hired. That's how I landed my job right now full time. But I appreciate you guys all so much. Any comments, questions, concerns, drop them in the comments section below. Let me know who your favorite prospects are. Appreciate you. Hit like, subscribe, and go Bills.